Hi, hello to everybody. It's pleasure to be here. I was living in Wrocław for many years. Unfortunately, right now I live in Warsaw. That's for me is like a journey to come here, but I enjoy the city very much. It's an amazing city, and the city which built a lot of financial institutions, and which became important for Poland and for the region. And I believe maybe in the future also the city will create interesting disruptive fintech business models. And the good thing about Wrocław is it's currently very close to one of the fastest developing hubs in Europe, which is Berlin. And I truly believe that probably Berlin, Warsaw, Prague are probably the most interesting cities to look at in terms of new investments, technology opportunities, and probably where in the future the VC money and people looking for attractive technology returns should definitely look for. Let me quickly introduce ourselves. That I started MCI here in Wrocław 16 years ago in '99. There was a vision to build a venture capital firm those days, and MCI was management consulting investment. I've been experienced with about 10 years of running a relatively large business called JTT. That was a $100 million business in PC manufacturing. And I thought, okay, after that experience, probably it will be boring to start another company. It's more interesting to share my experience with other entrepreneurs and help them to build companies. And also the second reason I decided to do this was one of my friends, Rafał Pudecki, he started a company called Internet Partners. It was the first ISP in Poland, and the company was massively losing money. And he came to us to invest, and I said, okay, what's the reason to invest in companies which are losing money? And he finds some other investments, and then they made a lot of money on exiting this unprofitable, losing money business to one of the global players consolidating the ISP market. That I realized that it's also possible to make money on unprofitable businesses, and that's the definition of venture capital, I believe. That was '99. We started from early stage fund totaling $10 million, which was raised through the IPO. Then we went through the long journey, long transition. Right now we manage close to 2.2 billion zlotych, which is split around 4 different areas of our activities. The major one is growth capital. We are one of the more important players in Europe in growth capital. Growth capital is something between venture capital and buyouts. It's like supporting later stages of the growth of the usually digital disruptive businesses. A good example of the growth capital is our investment in Invia in Czech Republic, in MolCZ, iZettle is one of the European leaders in mobile payments terminals, in Get. Get is a European version of Uber. That's our major activities right now. We also do the buyouts. DotPay, one of the panelists before, is one of our portfolio investments. It's in the payment area that we do this profitable, large, established companies. Sometimes we buy them on the public market. Sometimes we buy them on the private market. We still do the venture capital. It's roughly about 5 to 10% of our activities. And we also started to do a very attractive new segment, which is credit. Basically to support credit type of financing, debt type of financing for usually digital companies, because digital companies are not so easy to be understood by the traditional banking sector. That here you see our development. You also see some of our different investments. We have a huge experience in travel. I think we have probably the biggest portfolio in the fintech. If you look from the aspect of the CE base, or let's say Central European based investor, we are investing in iZettle, Market Invoice, Azimo, which Marta Krupińska was presented today. DotPay, eCard. In the past, we backed another successful Wrocław-based company called Bankier, which was sold to Naspers after going IPO on the Warsaw Stock Exchange, eBroker, and a couple of others. We also had an insurance startup in '99, Expedia, where we learned how difficult it is to make money or try to make money on insurance business. Marketplaces and e-commerce are a major focus historically and at the moment. Getul, Auctionata, Hoyoclean, that's examples of the marketplaces. E-commerce, we have about €1 billion portfolio in terms of revenue in e-commerce space, both West European and East European. It's worth to say that we are present from Tel Aviv up to Stockholm in terms of our portfolio, from London to Moscow. IT infrastructure, digital infrastructure, data centers, IT distribution, relatively large position. Software as a service, that's very interesting space for us, and the space where we made a lot of successful investments in the past. Online travel, we've been investor again in the company based here in Poland, in Wroclaw, Travel Planet, Invia in Prague, and currently we hold 2 positions, one in Russia, one in Turkey, in the leading national marketplaces in that space. Before I will talk about the fintech investments, and I have only 3.5 minutes, I just want to show you 2 things. Digital disruption, which happened already in media and in e-commerce. One example, Wirtualna Polska, we've been looking at Wirtualna Polska 99, 20 million zloty valuation. It was invested by Procom in 99 and later by Telekomunikacja Polska. Right now, market cap of Wirtualna Polska 1.5 billion zlotych. That's a transformation which happened into digital media. Then you have Agora 99, almost $1 billion, close to 4 billion zlotych. Yes, current value of Agora 871 million zlotych. That basically Agora in the meantime lost 75% of the value. Yes, that's what happened in the media. Media was the first sector which was attacked by the digital transformation. Yes, the second sector which was attacked by the digital transformation was retail. Carrefour, the famous French retailer, they lost over the last 15 years about 60%, yes, in value. In the meantime, Allegro, which was a peanut startup in '99, just started. They announced the transaction where Naspers sold Allegro to the group of private equity investors, $3.25 billion. That was the price for this company. That shows you what's happened in the meantime into the retail. Similar example in the United States, Amazon, explosion of the market value versus traditional retailers like Walmart, etc. That this is what happened with some sectors which already went through the digital disruption. Question is how it will work for the fintech. At the moment, we can only discuss about what we see right now. I think it's still relatively early for fintech to be disrupted. For me, it's a little bit like e-commerce in 2000, 2005. Yeah, that I think it's probably 10 years. 10 years. I think the maturity of the disruption in e-commerce will be like 10 years more advanced than maturity of the disruption in financial services. Two major sectors which were currently we're seeing majority of the investments, majority of the players and activities are lending and payments, and this sector is currently producing the largest number of so-called unicorns companies, over $1 billion. Also, these sectors are grabbing the most money from the investors. It's worth to say that in lending, basically what we observe is the issue with the liquidity. I mean that lending platforms, they not only need money from the investors to finance the operations, but also they need the money from the investors to finance the liquidity, the financing which they provide to the customers. That basically, probably the financial sector is more aware about the issue because it's already 20 years in media and 10 years in retail, that they understand the problem and they try to be engaged in solving the problem. They start to cooperate, they start to invest, and they start to be a part of the digital disruption. That we see a lot of players which are cooperating or operating platforms in fintech space. You see many of these names here on this slide. And also there are many examples of the successful cooperation between the financial institutions and the fintech startups. And in the general level, you can say that there are like examples of when the fintech startups are helping to become financial institutions more effective to deal with the risk of disruption in financial services. And then definitely will be examples of the attackers, the companies which will basically eat a market share from current financial services businesses, banks and insurance groups. Yes, that's basically the conclusion. That hopefully the destroyment which will be done by the digital disruption for the financial services should be lower than what was done in retail and in media. That's the conclusion. Thank you very much. My time is over.